Have you ever felt an inexplicable presence in your home, precisely when you needed comfort most? Have you noticed objects moving without explanation, or lights flickering, just as you thought of a loved one? The 8 signs that a deceased loved one is trying to communicate with you might be happening right now as you listen, and perhaps you haven't known how to interpret them correctly. Imagine you're in a dark room. Your senses are heightened. Suddenly, you perceive something subtle, a shift in temperature, a familiar scent that shouldn't be there, or perhaps a gentle touch on your cheek when you're completely alone. Sign number 4. Vivid dreams that feel like real visits, which likely happened last night in your home, is especially revealing, and many people your age experience them without understanding their true meaning. My name is Mario Alonso Puig, surgeon, speaker, and passionate researcher of the mysteries connecting our physical and spiritual worlds. For decades, I've studied these phenomena, and what I've discovered is astonishing. We are not as alone as we think. Physical death is not the end of communication with our loved ones. What I'm going to share with you today will not only change your perspective on death, but will profoundly transform how you live each day from now on. I promise you that after this video, you will recognize the 8 signs clearly, and you will be able to establish a conscious and comforting communication with your loved ones. Because when you understand these signs, you will understand that love transcends all barriers, even the most definitive one we know, death. Imagine this. You're sitting comfortably in your favorite armchair, the one where you've spent countless hours watching the sunset. Suddenly, without apparent reason, a vivid memory of that loved one who passed comes to mind. It's not just any memory. It's so intense, you can almost feel their presence. Your heart beats a little faster, and an inexplicable warmth envelops you. Has this ever happened to you? I know how you feel. That mixture of longing, solace, and sometimes even apprehension before the inexplicable. I understand perfectly that emptiness left by the departure of a loved one. And how, especially at our age, we cling to any sign that they are somehow still with us. But what few know is that there are surprising reasons why people in their later years experience these phenomena more frequently. First, as the years go by, our energy sensitivity increases considerably. Modern science has shown that our personal electromagnetic field changes with age, making us more receptive to certain frequencies invisible to younger people. Second, having lived longer, we've developed a deeper emotional connection with those who have passed, creating energetic bridges that facilitate communication between dimensions. Third, and this is fascinating, our rational mind begins to yield to intuition after age 60, allowing us to access an inner wisdom that was blocked by the mental noise of earlier life stages. Let me tell you about Dolores, a 72-year-old woman who came to me after losing her husband Robert after 45 years of marriage. She was devastated, but something strange began to happen. Every night, at exactly 3:33, the wall clock that Robert had repaired would stop. For a full minute, technicians found no explanation. Coincidence, everyone thought. Until Dolores remembered that 3:33 was the exact time Robert had proposed to her decades before. A detail only they two knew. What few know is that these phenomena are not simply the product of longing or a mind-seeking comfort. There's a whole dimension of spiritual communication that conventional science is only beginning to explore. Have you ever wondered why these experiences tend to occur at specific times, like anniversaries, or in situations of great emotional need? And have you noticed how some people seem more receptive than others to these signals? I've felt the same bewilderment you're experiencing now. I've seen people like you struggle with these experiences, trying to find a rational explanation, trying to convince themselves it's just imagination or a wish for their loved one to still be present. Most people try to find conventional scientific explanations for these phenomena, reducing everything to coincidences or psychological effects of grief. But the problem is that these explanations don't satisfy the depth of what we are experiencing. They don't explain how people who never knew our loved one can describe them in detail, or how personal objects appear in impossible places. Let's be clear. The transformative truth that few dare to explore is that consciousness does not extinguish with physical death. What modern neuroscience is discovering, and that 78% of current neuroscientists consider a real possibility according to the latest World Congress of Consciousness, is that our mind is a non-local field that transcends the boundaries of the brain and body. What society tells you is that you must move on, overcome grief, and accept the definitive finitude of life. The truth is that our emotional bonds don't end with physical death, and interdimensional communication is not only possible, but natural and expected. It all makes sense when you understand that the universe, at its deepest level, is interconnected information and energy. Quantum physics has shown that particles that were once connected continue to influence each other regardless of the distance separating them. Isn't this a perfect metaphor for what happens with our emotional bonds? Now, let me reveal the 8 specific signs that a deceased loved one is trying to communicate with you. Vivid and recurring dreams, where the interaction feels real. The number 4 sign you possibly experienced last night. The appearance of significant objects in unexpected places. Tree, characteristic sense of your loved one when it's physically impossible. 4. Unexplainable changes in temperature in specific spaces. 5. Unusual behavior of electronic devices, especially lights. 6. Meaningful coincidences related to important dates or numbers. 7. Physical sensations like caresses or the feeling of a presence. 8. Recurring symbols with personal meaning. There are 3 fundamental elements to understand about these signs. First, the signs follow recognizable, personalized patterns. They're not random or generic. Each deceased loved one develops their own communication language based on your shared history. That's why signal number 4 that happened last night at your home might seem insignificant to others. But it holds profound personal meaning for you. Second, these communications occur during times of heightened receptivity, a meditative state, the moment before sleep, or during activities that connect us with shared memories. These are dimensional windows where communication flows more easily. Third, emotional intention is the most powerful bridge. When we connect from a place of love, not fear or despair, we facilitate the energetic exchange with those no longer physically present. The secret that transforms everything is that we don't need intermediaries to establish this communication. Each of us possesses the innate ability to perceive these signs, especially after 60, when our natural sensitivity amplifies considerably. Have you noticed that after watching this video, you're remembering moments you previously dismissed as coincidences? Are you beginning to recognize patterns that were always there? Imagine a river whose waters flow constantly. On the surface, we see the moving water, representing our physical, tangible reality. But beneath, in the depths, there are currents moving in different directions, sometimes even in opposite directions. These deep currents represent the spiritual connections that remain active after physical death. Although we don't see them with the naked eye, they powerfully influence the flow of our lives. Pause right now and tell me in the comments, which of the 8 signs have you experienced most frequently? Your answer will help others feel less alone in this experience. One question I've been getting in the comments is whether these signs can be negative or represent some kind of harmful energy. Let me clarify this fundamental point. Genuine communication from a loved one always comes with a feeling of peace, not fear. It always brings clarity, not confusion. It's important to know the difference. A. Application. 500 to 600 words. Awaken to a new dimension of connection. Now let's explore 3 practical steps to recognize and enhance these 8 signs of communication with your deceased loved ones. 1. Paused perception, the 5-minute ritual. Begin by dedicating 5 minutes each morning, preferably upon waking, to a simple exercise in mindfulness. Sit in silence, breathe deeply 3 times, and mentally formulate the following. Invitation. I am open to perceiving your presence today. Don't look for an immediate answer. Simply maintain a receptive, open attitude. For example, Carmen, a 68-year-old grandmother, began this simple ritual after losing her sister. On the 3rd day, she noticed that whenever she made this invitation, a butterfly appeared on her window. A seemingly trivial event until she remembered that her sister collected butterfly figurines. Short term, in just 3 days, you'll notice you're paying more attention to meaningful coincidences. Long term, in 21 days, you'll develop an expanded sensitivity that will permanently transform your ability to perceive. 2. Revelatory record, the signal journal. Create a small journal dedicated exclusively to documenting the 8 signs we've identified. For each experience, note date and exact time, which of the 8 signs you experienced, your emotional state at that moment, any sensory details, smells, sensations, sounds, specific connection with your loved one. The specific technique is to write before analyzing. Describe the experience as you felt it, without trying to rationalize it immediately. Use this exact structure. Today I experienced sign. I felt emotion. It reminded me of shared memory. Short term, in 7 days, you'll begin to see revealing patterns that confirm the communication. Long term, in 60 days, this record will become undeniable evidence of continued communication. 3. Symbolic tuning, the energetic bridge. Identify 3 objects, 1 song, and 1 place that held special meaning for your deceased loved one. Create a small space in your home with at least 1 of these elements. Dedicate 3 minutes daily to consciously interacting with this symbolic bridge. For example, 73-year-old Mercedes created a small corner with the pipe her husband smoked, his favorite book, and a photograph of them together. Every afternoon, she spent 3 minutes there, simply feeling his presence. On the 6th day, she clearly perceived the scent of the tobacco he smoked, even though nobody had smoked there in years. Short term, in 6 days, you'll experience at least 1 of the 8 signs with greater clarity. Long term, in 40 days, you will have established a shared language with your loved one. Are you wondering, am I simply seeing what I want to see? It's a valid question, but consider this. According to a University of Virginia study, 82% of people who have experienced these signs can describe details that would be impossible to know through other means. The quality of the experience is fundamentally different from imagination. Another common question is, why are the signs so subtle? The vibrational differences between dimensions require a fine tuning of our perception. It's like trying to tune in a distant radio station. You need to carefully adjust the dial to pick up the signal clearly. Here's a quick win to implement today. Before sleeping, place a photograph of your loved one next to your bed and aloud ask a specific question you need answered. Signal 4, vivid dreams, often manifests that same night when you use this technique. Move towards this transformative experience right now. V. Validation, 300-400 words. Let me share how these principles have transformed real lives. Francisco, a 75-year-old retired teacher, lost his daughter in an accident. Immersed in deep depression, he began practicing these 3 steps without great expectations. One night, while performing the symbolic tuning exercise with his daughter's favorite music, all the lights in his house flickered simultaneously. It might seem like a coincidence, but it happened exactly when the part of the song she always sang with the most enthusiasm was playing. Francisco described an unexplainable certainty. I knew it was her, not as a belief, but as knowledge. Maria, an 83-year-old widow, began keeping what she called her revelatory record after losing her husband. 3 weeks in, she discovered an astonishing pattern. Every time she felt particularly sad, her clock stopped precisely at 11:11, their wedding time. A technician examined the clock multiple times, finding no fault. These experiences resonate deeply with ancient wisdom. In Native American traditions, there's the concept that ancestors never truly leave us. They simply change form. Modern science is beginning to approach this perspective. Researchers at the Institute of Noetic Sciences have documented thousands of cases of post-mortem communication that defy conventional explanations. The most comforting aspect is that you are not alone in this experience. Elderly people worldwide are discovering this silent language that transcends physical death. A recent survey among older adults revealed that over 60% have experienced at least one of the 8 signs we've discussed today. When you open your heart to this possibility, you not only honor the memory of your loved ones, you connect with a dimension of existence that has always been present, though invisible to those who don't know how to perceive its subtle manifestations. Inspiration. 300, 400 words. Imagine waking up tomorrow, not with that crushing weight on your chest you felt months ago, but with a gentle warmth, knowing your loved one is still present in a new and meaningful way. Can you feel it? Can you visualize how your face changes, your posture, your breathing as you recognize the signs of their presence? Before, you woke up each morning with that painful emptiness. The photos on the walls were daggers piercing your heart every time you looked at them. If only I had said, if only we'd had more time. These phrases tormented you day and night. Objects that reminded you of that person remained packed away because the pain of seeing them was unbearable. You felt invisible, forgotten, and every family celebration was a cruel reminder of that empty chair. Happy memories had become sources of bitterness. After, you wake up feeling a comforting presence. The butterfly repeatedly landing on your window brings a smile because you know it's no coincidence. The photograph that once brought tears now makes you feel accompanied. The lights flickering when you speak aloud about important decisions signal that you're still receiving guidance. Vivid dreams become anticipated reunions. The pain of loss doesn't disappear completely, nor should it, but it transforms into a new form of love that transcends the physical. Don't seek validation from those who don't understand. Learn to say enough to the rational explanations that try to deny what your heart knows with certainty. The truth hurts, but it also liberates. You have never been truly alone. The bonds of the soul are not broken by death. They simply change, form, like water transforming into a cloud, but remaining essentially the same. This ancient truth summarizes what the universe is telling you through these 8 signs. You are only one decision away from this transformation, and soon I'm going to reveal how your own deceased loved one tried to communicate with you this week without you noticing. I invite you to write in the comments right now, I recognize the signs, and specify which of the 8 signs you have experienced. Most clearly, Your testimony could be the light someone needs today. Share this video with 3 people who are going through the pain of loss. In the next video, we will delve exclusively into sign number 4, vivid dreams that seem like real visits. And I will reveal the technique that has helped more than 10,000 people establish conscious communication through the dream state. Peace is priceless. Free yourself from the limiting belief that death is the end. Open your eyes to this new reality. Communication continues, you just need to learn to listen.